Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Under the Bun. I'm considering this episode a follow-up to the Mega Man Clones episode that I made a couple of months ago. If you haven't seen it, you can find a link to it either in the description below or by clicking on the box here, let's say. July 18th marked the 5th anniversary of the cancellation of Mega Man Legends 3. It's been 5 years since that game was cancelled, and that date will live on in infamy in the history of video games as the day when many, thousands, of Mega Man fans were disappointed at the cancellation of one of their beloved franchises. Mega Man Legends has always kind of been the black sheep of the Mega Man family, never really getting the critical acclaim that the Classic series or the X series has gathered. Still, there's a large following of the Mega Man Legends series, and it has become a cult classic in today's gaming world. The game was essentially finished, and a playable prologue called the prototype version, that wasn't going to be part of the main game, was to be released as a 3DS launch title. Unfortunately, it never happened, but there is a trailer and some leaked footage that shows some of what the prologue was to contain. What made the cancellation of Mega Man Legends 3 even worse than just the disappointment of a cancelled game was that Legends 2 ended on a cliffhanger. Mega Man was stuck on the moon called Elysium, leaving Roll Casket and Tron Bonne to set aside their differences and work together on building a rocket to save him. Since Mega Man was on the moon, we were to play Mega Man Legends, or at least part of the game, as a new character named Barrett, the leader of a motorcycle gang called the Bright Bats, and a digger. He was joined by his friend Arrow, who acted as his navigator, basically his role. It was assumed that at some point, Barrett and Arrow would befriend Roll and Tron, and they would help in bringing Mega Man back from the moon. If you want more history on the development and cancellation of Mega Man Legends 3, I'm going to redirect you to the YouTube page Get Me Off the Moon. This is the page for the 100,000 strong for Mega Man Legends 3 community. It's an internet community of Mega Man fans who are trying to get Capcom to bring Mega Man Legends 3 back. They recently made a mini documentary about the game, and I think it's worth checking out. I'll put the link in the description below, or you can click in the box that I just put on the screen. The same community also made the game Mega Man Legends 3 Prologue, the 2D version. It's essentially a fan-made demake of what the prototype version of the 3DS game was supposed to be, and I just played it, and I'm here to review it. Presentation-wise, the game is pretty good. It looks and plays like the 8-bit Mega Man Classic games, but with a Legends skin over it. The game starts off with a recap of events that occurred at the end of Legends 2, and an intro of what is going to be happening in Legends 3. There are 3 difficulty options to choose from, which essentially make platforming easier if you are on easy mode, and make the enemies do more damage if you are on hard mode. A level select option, which lets you pick from the first 3 missions, and a minigame mode, which I will discuss later. Right away you can see Dr. Wily snuck into the townspeople. You can talk to these townspeople as well. They don't really have much to say, but it's a nice inclusion given that you can talk to random NPCs in the main Legends games as well. You don't have a charge shot, like in the classic Mega Man games, but you didn't in Legends either, so it makes sense. There are 3 different lock-on options. Hold, where you need to hold the button to lock onto an enemy. Switch, where you tap it to change lock. And auto, which just does it automatically. I used auto because it was convenient. You also have 2 special moves, a larger shot if you're on the ground, and a flame kick if you're in the air. These are moves seen in the 3DS footage. Barrett also has a dash, which causes him to run fast, which you can use to run up walls partway. You can also punch if you are attacking while dashing, and sometimes punch if you are attacking and pressing a direction when enemies are close by. He also has a roll, which can be used to avoid traps and hazards, and avoid being attacked. Periodically, you will see Arrow's face pop up, and can see a message from her when pausing the game. Many recognizable Reaverbots make a comeback, and the game mixes a basic element of exploration that separates the Legend series from the rest of Mega Man, and the platforming elements of the classic games. There are some minor complaints with that platforming, however. In the first stage, there's a part with the infamous Mega Man disappearing, reappearing blocks, and sometimes I feel like the blocks would shift as you jump so you would miss. Also, some of the jumps feel like a leap of faith because you can't see where you're jumping, and you often need the dash to make them. What makes these small gripes more frustrating is that you can't use the D-pad. You have to use the control stick, which is just a pet peeve of mine when it comes to platforming games. I hate using the stick, I much prefer using the D-pad. But it's not possible, at least as far as I could tell with this game. You also need to finish the game in one sitting. which means if you game over, you need to start over from the beginning, which I had to do a few times because the final boss and the room before it took me a while to figure out. It's also worth noting that this game actually made me realize something I missed in the playthrough of the Legends games. There are parts in the Legends games where you have to walk through 2 doors with a small room in the middle, and it just occurred to me that those are throwbacks to the small rooms that act as a break before the boss room in the classic games. It never occurred to me while playing it, and I just realized it while seeing it in a 2D space. Coming back to that minigame mode, it's just flat out broken. You can't move, you can't jump, you can't really do anything outside of shoot in the middle of the screen. You can't dodge attacks, and it's honestly just broken. So there isn't really much to say about it other than it just doesn't work. Overall, it's a decently made game though, especially for a free fan-made game that was created by like 5 people in the Mega Man fan community. Coincidentally, I think, I could be wrong, but I believe that a few of the people who worked on this demake are also working on the Homebrew Unity version of Legends 3 that I mentioned in the Clones episode. Now for the story. Spoilers ahead. I'm basically just going to talk about the whole story because it's a short game. As you can guess, the story is a fan speculation of what was to be included in the prototype version of the game. The game is broken up into 4 missions. It begins with Barret riding into Clickalon Island, which is being attacked by Reaverbots. Barret decides to help the town and sets out to destroy the Reaverbots. After destroying the attacking Reaverbots, Arrow and Barret are then chased by Denise, the policewoman from the Misadventures of Tronbon, who is on an anti-rider crusade and wants to arrest Arrow and Barret for their association with the Bright Bats gang. Barret destroys Denise's mech, and they set off in search of a ruin that holds a large refractor crystal. Making our way through the ruin, there are a couple Easter eggs alluding to the cancelled 3DS game trailer and the Homebrew Legends 3 trailer. You can see the chase scene with the Sharukurusu, and the scene with the Mimic, for example. Upon reaching the refractor, the Bonds show up with their new mech, the Donnerweiss, with the intention of taking the refractor to sell so that they can fund the rocket to save Mega Man. The Donnerweiss is actually the winner of the Mega Man Legends 3 Mecha Design Competition. Barret decides to fight them. It is here where another homage to the leaked footage, in which Barret's flame kick knocks the Donnerweiss down as it did in the trailers. The attention to detail is actually really impressive. Barret defeats the Bonds, but Tron sends her Servbots to steal the refractor anyway, which sets off a trap and fills the room with water. The Bonds save Barret from drowning and bring him to the surface, where they formally introduce themselves and Roll. Roll then asks Barret for a favor and explains to him what happened to Mega Man, thus setting up what would have been Mega Man Legends 3, and the game ends. Or not. The game actually goes beyond what would have been expected from the prologue. Barret takes Roll and Tron's rocket and goes to Elysium to save Mega Man, Sarah, and Yuna. The level is divided up into several rooms. You fight through a room and then there's a break, fight through a room, then a break, all leading up to a final boss. The final boss is a giant Reaverbot. It's actually the winner of the Reaverbot design contest from when Mega Man Legends 3 was in development. And it's a pain in the ass. It takes a lot of hits, and you can't hit it most of the time because its armored leg protects it. It has 2 main attacks, dropping rocks from the ceiling and releasing a cloud to shock you. Both are easily dodgeable once you get used to it. Once you get the Reaverbot to about half health, a cutscene occurs in which Barret is hit by a lightning shock and he is unable to move. Just as the Reaverbot is about to finish him off, a mysterious blue figure appears and blows off the Reaverbot's leg. That mysterious figure is none other than Mega Man himself. Here you have the chance to finally play as Mega Man. He's incredibly powerful and makes Barret look like a little bitch. Mega Man has a charge shot, which can be used to destroy the Reaverbot's leg, a rapid fire, and unlimited health. Barrett and Mega Man make their way back to the rocket, where Yuna and Sarah meet up with them. Sarah decides to stay, and Mega Man and Yuna try to convince her otherwise. Barrett, fed up with this shit, punches her in the stomach, knocks her out, and carries her onto the rocket. The game ends with everyone being reunited, and Roll running up to Mega Man. Barrett and Arrow leave and head towards the Bon Appetit to grab some food. In the background, we can see all the different versions of Arrow that were unused before the devs decided on the final Arrow design. Overall, this is a fun short little fan game that reinvigorates the need for the real Mega Man Legends 3. The likelihood of ever seeing a real Legends seems slightly, but maybe someday we'll see the project revived. With Capcom recently releasing the Mega Man Legacy Collection on all modern consoles, and putting the 3 other Legends games on PSN, and the interesting looking cartoon planned, it's obvious that they are aware that there is a demand for more Mega Man. Additionally, the 100,000 Strong page has made 2 new campaigns to make Capcom aware of the want for a Legends 3. I did my part by submitting a picture of my Mega Man collection to Capcom. You can read more about the campaigns yourself in the link in the description below. Hopefully, we'll see more Mega Man someday, but until then, all we can do is enjoy what we already have and look fondly at what could have been. It's kind of weird when you think about it. Mega Man Legends 3 was a project that was initially started with the intent of working together with the community to create something great. Many artwork competitions were held, and character designs were voted on by the community. The Capcom board allowed the devs and community to discuss how the game was going and supply feedback to what people wanted to see in the game. Now, it's entirely up to the community to keep the idea of Legends 3 alive. The fans have inherited the project. I hope you liked this episode of Under the Bun. Please feel free to comment what you liked, what you didn't like, and what we can do to improve. If you did like it, please give us a like and share it amongst your friends. Don't forget to check out some of our other videos if you haven't watched them yet. Thank you, everyone.